And then analyzation, again, there's a million ways to analyze. This is more of a safer route. So this is like a general guideline, but again, some of you probably are not beginners or intermediates and you have better ways, but this is gonna be the best. This is how we do it for 90% of our stuff, of our products, and this is a good safe route to save a lot of money because we do test pretty aggressively. Simple, no link clicks after $5 spent. You can shut it off because the thing is about if somebody doesn't link click on your ad, after $5, it usually shows that that specific asset won't really be successful, because even if you get link clicks for like $7, the chances of that being a successful ad set are pretty low. It is possible, but again, we're trying to basically to filter out our risks as much as possible and save money. So after $5, no link clicks, you can shut that off. No purchase after 2 days, you can shut that off as well. Again, I know some of you will say, but Ben, it takes 4 days sometimes to get a purchase, and I've been successful letting an ad run for 5 days without a purchase. I know, but the thing is that most ads are successful. Most successful ads usually get a purchase in the first 2 days. So again, I'm trying to go on the safer route here rather than on like a more of a chance route. Again, you cannot have a purchase after 2 days and then suddenly it will start to get purchases after 4 or 5 days and even be a successful ad set. But we'd rather go on the higher statistic rate than on the lower statistic rate, if that makes sense. You'd rather save that money instead of like have that 5% chance that ad set will actually succeed. And again, this is only if you're actually listening to what I talked about budgets before, because your budget is really, really aligned with how many purchases you're gonna get. Purchase in the first 2 days, great. If your return on investment is negative, which means basically you're losing money on that ad set, so ad spend, revenue minus ad spend minus product cost is not good, that's fine. Don't shut off the ad, let it run for another 3 days, okay? If after 5 days, doesn't matter how many purchases you got, but if the return on investment is still negative, you can shut it off. If not, great, keep running it until it has 15 purchases. If you have 15 purchases and your ROI is positive, you can scale. ROI positive meaning that I don't care how much your ROA or ROI is, as long as it is profitable. After 15 purchases, you can scale that ad set. Sometimes we scale after 5 purchases, sometimes we scale after 3 purchases. Essentially this is a good safe route, because usually an ad set that has been running and got 15 purchases and it's still ROI positive, you'll have a higher success rate to basically be successful with it. So that's a general guideline. Again, it's on the safer route. There's a million ways to do this. That's a general guideline. And then scaling. Now scaling, I'm not gonna go too deep into it because there are a few instructors that are gonna go into it. And again, this is something that can take me 8 hours to talk about. So I'm gonna give you some, in a nutshell, things that you can do to really make your scaling pretty fast and efficient. And again, you're only gonna do this when your ad sets have 15 purchases, when an ad set has 15 purchases with a positive return on investment. So number one, what I like to do is the ad set that has that essentially metric, 15 purchases with positive ROI, I duplicate it and I change the optimization to an add to cart or initiate checkout or add payment info. Sometimes I'll even duplicate it a few times, and on every single one of those duplications, I'll optimize for a different conversion. With the same budget, with the $30, by the way. Other than that, I'll increase the original ad set, which is the one that is successful, and I'll increase the ad set by 50%. So if the ad set is on $30, I'll increase it to $45. And don't shut it off if after a day it fucking banked or something, or it crashed. Give it 2 days, sometimes even 3, for it to re-optimize. Usually it will start working as good as before. If not, you can always reduce the budget back. But so I'll go from 30 right to 45. I'll let it run for two days, see if it's still getting me the same return on investment. And then after 3 days, if it's working good, I'll increase it again by 50%. So if we went from 30 to 45, after 3 days, we'll go from 45 to, what is 20% of 45? That's 20% of 45, that's 9. So no, sorry, 50% of 45, that's 22.5. So yeah, let's say 67.5, let's say 70, right? So we're gonna increase it to $70. Give it a few more days, still working, increase it again. Now, you're gonna do this entire thing to every single one of the ad sets. So again, like I told you, you duplicate to add to cart, initiate checkout, you let that run. If those were good, after 15 purchases, positive ROI, you're gonna increase the budgets. Now, other than that, scale to lookalikes, of course, and you do the same scaling structure, which means optimize for purchase with countries. So build a lookalike for from the top big 5 and build a lookalike from the top 25, from the top 20 GDP. Try new creatives, try new ad copies, and manual bid with MaxBid. Manual bidding I'm not going to touch on because that's a huge subject. And again, you can be super successful without manual bidding, to be honest. But of course, if you know what you're doing, do manual bidding, and that's your big budget ad sets. But you don't have to if you're starting out, especially if you don't want to put a lot of money on the line, because with manual bids, you're investing kind of a lot of money without making anything back in hopes of it to optimize later on. But in a nutshell, duplicate the ad sets to different conversions, increase the ad sets that are working by 50%, let it optimize for 2-3 days, increase it again. Scale to lookalikes with the same testing structure. So what do I mean by same testing structure is that you're running your ads to these lookalikes, and consider the lookalikes the same thing as the interests. So you're gonna run the lookalike to USA, United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and you're gonna run the lookalike to the top 20 GDP. And of course, retargeting, which I think Max Shackelford is gonna talk about, creatives and so on and so on. And with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and stay tuned for more videos. We have amazing speakers and instructors later on. So we're gonna talk about everything from e-commerce to Facebook ads, retargeting, brand awareness, and so on and so on. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. You got a thing or two. Here are some more results, just so you can kind of see what knowing these things actually gives you. But again, stay tuned for more videos. We're gonna go even deeper and deeper and deeper. And with that being said, I was Ben Malol, but make sure to follow along, follow the steps, and I'll see you soon. Peace.